Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are listening to Sayyidina Omar Institute Radio. Today, I want to reflect on something quiet. Not every danger arrives loudly. Some dangers enter slowly, almost reasonably. A small compromise, a silent adjustment, a choice that feels practical, a transaction that feels unavoidable. Then, over time, something inside us shifts. The erosion of sovereignty often begins not with a roar, but with a whisper. In our modern life, especially here in Australia, we may not lose our amana in one dramatic moment. We lose it gradually when we separate our faith from our finances, our values from our work, our ibadah from our ambitions, and our Islamic identity from our daily conduct. We still believe, we still pray, we still say the right words, but slowly our lives become divided. The Quran gives us a precise warning in Surah An-Nur, verse 21. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. O you who believe, do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. The word khutuwat is important. It means steps, not one sudden fall, but small, measured steps. This is often how Shaitan works, not always by calling us openly to reject Allah, but by moving us slowly. A little less concern for halal and haram, a little more comfort with riba because the system makes it difficult to avoid. A little more attachment to wealth and status. A little more distance from communal responsibility. A little more justification for things we once felt uneasy about. Each step feels manageable. Each step feels logical. But the deeper question is not only whether the step is practical. The deeper question is, where is this step taking my heart? Because when we lose sight of Allah, even success can become a test. Knowledge can become a veil. Comfort can become a quiet prison. This is not only personal, it is communal. A community does not always lose its amana through open rebellion. It can happen when trust becomes negotiable, service becomes performance, wealth becomes the measure of worth, and Islamic values are kept for religious occasions but removed from business, education, family life, and social responsibility. That is when we begin to live in compartments, one self in the masjid, another self at work, another self in financial dealings, another self online, another self when no one is watching. But Islam does not call us to live in pieces. Islam calls us to live whole. This is why in every salah we ask Allah, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, guide us to the upright path. We are asking for a way of life, a path that shapes our heart, money, speech, work, family, knowledge, ambitions, public life, and private life. All of it must face Allah. Remaining on this path requires more than movement of the lips. It requires muraqabah. Muraqabah is living with the awareness that Allah sees us. Allah knows the hidden transaction, the quiet compromise, the private justification, and the intention before it becomes action. Allah is Al-Raqib, the ever-watchful. When we remember this, we begin to place a spiritual audit over our own soul. Before we ask, can I get away with this? We ask, is Allah pleased with this? Before we ask, is this normal? We ask, is this upright? Before we ask, will people approve? We ask, will this preserve my amana before Allah? This is how we recognize the bait before we take the first step. Many traps today do not look like traps. They look like convenience, opportunity, progress, status, and financial security. So the believer must pause and ask, what is this doing to my heart? What is this doing to my household? What is this doing to my community? What is this doing to my relationship with Allah? This is the work of reclaiming our sovereignty. Not independence from Allah, but freedom from being controlled by every system, appetite, trend, fear, and market force that tries to define us. True sovereignty begins when the servant returns to servitude. When we say, I belong to Allah, my provision belongs to Allah, my time belongs to Allah, my abilities are an amana from Allah, my choices will return to Allah. So we ask Allah, the turner of hearts, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik, O turner of the hearts, keep my heart firm upon your religion. May Allah keep our hearts firm, guide us to the upright path, make us people of amana, and protect us from the subtle steps that lead away from Him. Ameen. I'm Farhad, and this has been a reflection from the Sovereign Compass. Stay purposeful,